Bonjour, mesdames and messieurs. Today we are back in France to look at Les Casset and Barcelet here on airdailyx.net. That's right, folks. We are back in France once again, and I guess I should apologize right off the bat because this is a very unusual time to be having a live stream, and the reason is very simple, honestly. As a family man and head of house, I do have a family to look after, so sometimes I just can't do things right when I want to do them. I was hoping to get to this earlier yesterday, and time just did not permit, unfortunately. So, yes, we are here in France. Do let me know if the sound is okay. I don't know if I'm peaking too loudly or too quietly here, but I see there's 20 people in the chat this morning. It's about 1:47 a.m., so, yes, everybody is in bed, and I now have some free time to get some work done here. So about today's stream, as I mentioned, we are taking a look at a couple of sceneries from FSX3D and talking about my free time. They released Les Casset. I don't want to say cassette like, you know, an old 1980s tape. But yeah, I wanted to stream that when it was released, and it was one of those things that unfortunately I just never got around to being able to do. So just like with a lot of other streams that I'm hoping to try to get around to soon, sometimes it happens much later on, and in this case, it waited all the way till their next release, which is Barcelet, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which was released just a few days ago. So now was an excellent opportunity to actually show them both and actually show a little bit about what FSX3D is capable of and some of their work. So that's what we're doing. So right now we are here in Perpignan, and I figured since we are hanging around the south of France, might as well take a look at some other airports that the region has to offer. And this was released by Dreamflight Studios, and this scenery has been out now probably for a couple years already. I think I did do a full live stream on it. So if you are watching this on YouTube now and you missed this live, you can actually stream through some of these YouTube videos and you'll find it in there somewhere. And speaking of Dreamflight, I actually did speak with a developer recently, and he is closing in on some of his projects because, as you well know, this was, I believe, was this the most recent? No, this wasn't the most recent one they released. He released the one in Central America whose name escapes me at this very moment. But yeah, they're busy, and we will definitely be seeing some releases from Flight Dream Studios, or Dreamflight Studios, I should say. It's a bit late, so if I stumble, just forgive me in advance. But yeah, we should be seeing some more work from them this year, definitely, without a doubt. So I figured this is a nice place to kind of start off. And we're going to take a look at Les Casset first and make our way over there. So generally, I like to show off aircraft as well when I show off these scenery reviews, just to give you a little bit of an idea of some of the stuff that's out there. And in this particular case, we're going to be looking at Iris Simulations PC24, if I'm saying that correctly. They released this aircraft earlier last year, and another one of those add-ons that I didn't get an opportunity to take a look at or stream. So now is actually an excellent excuse to show off this aircraft as well, but because it's also late and I want to be getting to bed soon, it's something fast enough that I'll be able to get us to where we need to go. And considering the fact that it's also a short airfield capable aircraft means that the airports that we'll be flying into are more than capable for this aircraft. This aircraft actually, this Pilatus, doesn't even need tarmac or concrete strips. It's you can land it on dirt. That's what it's designed for, which is why those tires are so thick. So for you bush guys, now you have a business jet that you can use for real bush flying, which is very interesting. But leave it to Pilatus to be the ones to come up with something like that. So let me just go ahead and get this aircraft underway. I've got to grab Trek IR here. And for those of you who have decided to join me on this early, unusual time, welcome aboard. For everyone else, I just assume they'll catch this on YouTube later on today anyway, when time is a little bit more forgiving, I'm sure. Let me see here. Just want to check my eye point, make sure I'm happy with that. Okay, and this aircraft is actually fairly simple to operate. Oh, what happened here? What's going on with the sounds? I actually can't hear anything. Uh-oh. Did I screw something up? Yeah, sound is on, but I do not hear anything. I'm getting these error messages now for some unknown reason. That's not good. Sometimes when I switch audio devices and the simulator is running, whenever I click on the switch in the aircraft, it always says sound failed, like it wasn't able to load the sounds properly. I've had that happen before. Okay, I'm not seeing that pop up again, so hopefully that's not going to be a problem. I hope not. All right, let's turn the nav lights on. And we just need to wait for this thing to fire up. But I should be hearing sounds, and I'm not hearing anything here. Let's see what's going on. Leave it to a live stream for everything to go wrong, as always. And it's funny because I tested everything with this plane before I started the stream, and everything was working just fine. So what's going on? Right now I should be hearing the CAS warning, and I'm not hearing anything. Oh, that's not good. All right, I'm going to reload the aircraft because I can see it now. I'm going to be having trouble. Let's just reselect the aircraft and see if I get sound. Hang on a sec. See, I had this thing in the hangar and all ready to go, and now BS. Let me see something here. Sound. Yep, I have no sounds anywhere. Okay, all right, let's reload the aircraft and see what happens. Sorry, your screen's gonna go blank here for just a second. And as Captain De Paula points out there in the chat, yes, everything always works except for when I need it to. And the thing is I do make it a point to check and test everything before I hit that stream button. And just my luck, something almost always goes wrong. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's bring the generators on. There we go. Now we got sound. That's more like it. Hopefully you guys can hear that. I have no idea what happened there. And let's get the GPU out here for power. And this thing should physically actually have a GPU show up, which it has not done yet. Let's see here. No GPU? Okay. Well, maybe let's just start an engine so I can get power here then. I don't know. The GPU isn't working. Doesn't look like anything's working here. Let me start up FSUI PC again. Well, that's one way to get power. I don't know why the GPU isn't working. Let's mute that annoying sound. Alright, well, we've got the number one engine rolling, so we have power now. I'm not sure why I wasn't able to get the GPU working here. It's supposed to be just as simple as hitting that switch and everything's supposed to work. I should have hit the beacon light on too before we started. So I'm not sure what's going on. Alright, well, leave it to live streams to try to get everything up and running here. Let's see here, and it looks like it's still trying to catch up here. So let's give it a minute. Yeah, now this airplane's acting up, so I'm gonna have to speed things along here. Typical live stream, folks. And sorry if the screen looks like it's going crazy because I'm turning my head to look at the laptop. Someone was asking if I'm using Track IR, and yes I am. That's why it looks that way. I'm using a combination of Track IR and Chase Plane to get this all up and working. One of the things I don't like about this plane, though, is if you open the door, you get like this mat in these sanctions that pop up. Oh, it doesn't pop up right now. Probably because the engines are running. Okay, never mind. It showed it earlier. Those are two things that I don't particularly like about it, but okay. Take a quick look here. Alright, let's flaps one, taxi lights. The other thing that annoys me about this plane is I have to physically use the mouse to control certain buttons. Actually, taxi's already on. And that I'm not too happy with because I like to have everything programmed right into my Warthog, and this prevents that from happening. Alright, let's go ahead and get underway here finally. And it's nice to be back in France in the simulator again. Taxi to Gate recently, of course, released their Charles de Gaulle scenery. And I think they did a fantastic job with that. That scenery is incredible given its size and the fact that the performance was really good. Not to mention it was really light on VAS too. I was able to complete my first flight from Flight Tampa Amsterdam actually over to Charles de Gaulle, and no OOMs, which was nice. Got to be careful with the AI traffic though. Got to be really careful with the AI traffic, and if you keep the AI traffic down to like 5%, then you should be okay. Because flying into any airport without AI traffic reminds me of the old FS 2002 days, where every airport you flew into was like, you know, The Walking Dead, where there's just no life or sign of life anywhere. Oh, that taxiway does go all the way through. I thought I was going to have to turn around here. That's fine. Turn around anyway. This is the second runway here. Alright, landing lights. Already on, because I hit that button. Okay. Let's roll. eye point is way too high. Holy shit. Is it working? It's not rotating. Fuck. I'm like, whoa, that was V1 all the way back there at 85 knots. What the hell?
Too low, gear.
Well, we almost died there, didn't we?
Too low, gear.
This is another thing about the aircraft is when you take off and you got positive rate, you put the gear up and then you get too low gear. So that's another annoying thing about it. I don't know why it does that. I mean, this aircraft is not in civilian hands yet, so Iris obviously had to guess at a lot of things, I'm sure. But nevertheless, that was weird. This thing was not rotating. That's crazy. I was trimmed as well, so I don't know what happened there. That's alright. We're climbing out now. And the flight over to Lake Casset should not be too long. We'll just climb up to 18.5, level out. It should be a pretty short flight over. In fact, I can get lazy and cheat and just bring up the autopilot now. What did I say? 18.5. The other thing about this aircraft too is it can be difficult using the toggle switch to navigate between the screens here. And sometimes I lose it and I can't get it back. It's weird. I don't know. The system on this thing is acting crazy now. I've got the vertical speed engaged. And it seems gun-ho on descending instead of ascending. So I don't know what's going on there either. I got hit altitude as well. Okay, that'll do it. There we go. We're figuring this thing out. I've flown this thing a couple of times when I first got it, and then I kind of put it in the hangar, and then they finally released the update, I think back in February. And I just hadn't had time to get around to it, so we're kind of figuring this out together. But I remember, So I still can't remember how to get across the screens here. Okay, there's nav. Okay, there it is. So now I should be able to, oh, okay, left. How do I go back over there? I know I figured this out before, but I can't seem to figure it out now. I'll have to go back and read the manual. Right side, come on. Oh, I lost it again. So when the thing highlights in green, that's the active screen, but if I want to select these individual areas, it's not touch screen. I need to get the cursor. See, now it went over to the radio, or to the navigation plane, but I can't get it back over there to figure out. Ah, well, forget it. I give up. It's too early in the morning or late at night, either or. Alright, well, at least we're finally moving here, so let me put that nose down a little bit. It took a while to get us going. I'm like cringing here. So yeah, FSX3D, and I'm trying to think when these guys came on my radar, and I believe it was like Casset. I think they did, there's one airport that they did that I don't have, and that's the, I'm trying to remember that airport over on Corsica. They did one, I'm going way too fast. They did one, and then Aerosoft did a version. And I was always hoping to try to find out which one was going to be the better of the two, and I never actually did get them both to try to compare them to see which was better. But the Le Casset, when they released that one, that's when they kind of really registered on my radar. And there's a lot of things that I think they did really, really well at that airport, and there are some things that it's obvious to see where their improvement kind of lies, or where it needs to be. So we'll kind of get into all that shortly. I see there's a lot of questions over there in the chat. I'm going to get to that shortly. I got to pause track IR here. I just want to make sure I get this thing rolling. In fact, you know what? We'll just level off at 10,000. That way I can multitask here. And let's take a quick look at the outside of the aircraft as well. So this was Iris's first attempt at doing something a little bit different in terms of the stuff that they usually do, and they certainly got the exterior aesthetics down, I think, quite nicely. So it's not exactly that Coronado look, but it definitely looks really nice. My chase plane views are not as smooth because of track IR, but anyway. I had to take away that smoothness because it has a tendency to drift and get away from me sometimes. But it's a good looking airplane. I mean, it's very solid. The only thing, though, if we go back inside, is a lot of these whites back here just kind of seem to lack texture a little bit. So there's not a whole lot of character to these seats. I mean, it definitely looks all very much futuristic and all that, but I felt like they could have maybe, you know, worked the textures a little bit. But this is Iris's first time really doing something like this, so for the most part, I think they've done a really good job. It's just the white is a little bit too white, so it's like there's not a whole lot of depth in the textures. But it looks like like I'm on the Enterprise or something. Like it's very kind of Star Trek-y, futuristic looking. So there it is. We can speed things up a little bit. Another thing too, if you look at the MFD, it kind of shows that we're maybe 3 or 4 degrees above, you know, kind of a nose pitch up, but we're really not. And I've looked at that too before, and I haven't figured that out because we're definitely leveled out, but sometimes I get, it's got like that pitch up, but the aircraft isn't really pitching up. So that's another interesting thing. Anyway, I see there's some comments there. Let me see if I can grab the laptop here and try to read. And yeah, DePola saying this thing's like a bat out of hell. Oh yeah, no, this thing moves. That's for sure. And that's the thing, when it comes to any aircraft that moves this fast off the runway, which by the way, I still haven't figured out why we didn't rotate like we were supposed to, but anyway, it looked like nothing was going right. But if you're on VATSIM or Pilot Edge or something like that, you know, the thing with flying aircraft that are really fast, and it's just one of those things that I have to get used to mastering, is, you know, you got to fly the airplane, but then you've got to be quick on the radios as well for your transitions. And that's one of the few areas where I tend to struggle with is getting on those radios. You know, you can dial them in and switch them over, but you know, before you take off, if you know, okay, departure frequency is, you know, blah blah blah. But once you get handed off, sometimes you don't know what the frequency is that you're going to get handed off to, and so sometimes, you know, if you think you're going in one direction, but, you know, ATC tells you to go a different direction, you've got to be fast on the radios. So when you have a radio stack, it's fine, but with like an aircraft like this, it's like trying to dial everything in quickly can be kind of a pain. I haven't really taken much time to master that panel down there, so. But you can manually input your flight plans in here. I just uploaded a default flight plan from Flight Simulator because I'm lazy. But yeah, so you can still put in all your flight plans and everything, and this will still pick them up. I do not think it runs off Navigraph though, so, but don't quote me on that because I can't remember off the top of my head. I never tried loading Navigraph in here, so not 100% sure. And Amos is here. Welcome aboard, buddy. He goes, are you aware it's 10 a.m. here? Are you aware that it's 2 a.m. here? What time is it, actually? Yeah, it's 2:13 in the morning, so, yeah. This is finally when I had time to get to my stream. Busy day. I couldn't do it. I wanted to do it Sunday, but Sunday is kind of like family day, so... And then I had a lot of stuff to do yesterday, so it's like, all right. Kid gets home from school, wife gets home from work. We spend our time together, then they all get to bed, and then it's like, okay, now, finally, I can do it. And correct, this is the Iris PC-24 that I'm trying to figure out how to fly. Speed this jalopy up a little bit now. Yeah, I remember the first time I flew this thing, it had a crap load of bugs, and I haven't really been able to see if they fully addressed all of them. But I did see in the latest, in the notes for everything that was corrected or fixed, it looked like they had pretty much gotten to all of them. So now it just comes down to a matter of being able to work this panel. Let me try this again. You click on that. Oh, that's left again. That's right. Which one of these damn buttons is it? that's not it. That's it. I think it's a detail. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it's the detail button, and then now I should be able to go over. Let's try this button. Nope, that's not it. Let's go back. Come on. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we have terrain, and then I hit detail again. Does that give me terrain? No, that doesn't do it. Shit. Thought I had it. Do I click the center button? Nope, that's not it either. Page, nope. Nope. What button is it? Oh, enter. I think it's this one. There we go. Okay. And if I need to zoom out, how do I do that? I forgot how to zoom out on the map. Let me see. Does it radar work? Well, we've pushed the button, but I need to be able to zoom out to see if it's actually working. See, this says range. You'd think it would be this one here. But that's clearly not it. And then we have TCAS as well on here. Let me see that. Enter. Oh, cool. So the TCAS works. Ah, crap. How do you zoom out? Push. Gain. I don't know. Does this actually work? I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. I hear it clicking though. I just don't remember how to aim this in a meeting. This is bad. I'm a bad influence on too many people. Amos, that's terrible. Are you watching on your iPhone? Crap. I cannot figure out how to zoom this damn thing out. Crap. I know I did it before, but I cannot remember how to do it now. Outside of looking at the manual. Nope, that doesn't do anything either. I like that it gives me the elevation for the airport. It's pretty cool. Okay, I do not see how to zoom on this thing at all. Detail. Nope. So that's the only thing I haven't been able to figure out is how to zoom in and out. I need to take more time to play with it, try to figure it out. Oh, okay, so it's nice to know that it's just not me. Amos is saying the same thing, that he hasn't fully figured out the logic on this thing either. Yeah, that's the only thing, is trying to... I mean, I'm sure in the manual they have to go into that. Here, trying to just figure it out off the top of my head, not really. And I don't think this even works. I feel like it doesn't. Let's see, info. Let me see. No, that's the nav on that side, right? Info. Oh, okay. Comms. Nope, I don't want to put any in there. Okay, I'll give up. We're not too much further out from our airport though, but yeah, trying to figure out how to zoom out on that screen. If anyone sees it, feel free to chime in. Yeah, it's a cool little airplane though. Alright, we see land. Probably circle down the approach and put it down. Oh, there's a couple of private chats in here. Whispers. Too far, just passing Marseille actually, I think, which is kind of right out there somewhere. Our airport should be coming up shortly. I'm actually very curious how Marcel is doing with that Côte d'Azur cityscape scenery that he's been working on. You notice how the aircraft is like slowly moving across the screen right now. This is that thing with using Chase Plane with Track IR, is it tends to do that. It'll continue to kind of pan, and so when I'm in the flight deck seat, I have to have it very straight like that instead of having it like smoothly come to a stop. I have to have it really stiff to try to keep it from moving. Because I'll do a turn, and then when I come back off the turn with Track IR, like I'll be offset like that. So there it is. See how it still likes to do that. I don't know if I should blame Chase Plane or my Xbox controller, but it's still in beta or still in alpha, I think. But nevertheless, I mean, Chase Plane is one of the best utilities I think we've ever had for Flight Simulator. Really just easy to use, and they've really answered the call in terms of having something like that. And now everybody is a videographer now. They always had these guys who did videos, and yeah, a lot of people would always wonder, how do they make videos like that? And a lot of it's probably post-processing, but now everyone can make a video. So I've been seeing a lot of new video makers pop up on YouTube with Chase Plane now. So that is no longer video makers. That is no longer a what's the word I'm thinking of here? It's no longer a selective group of people who can do nice videos now. Chase Plane's really opened it up. All right, I think the airport is coming up here pretty soon. I'll slow down a little bit. So for the 20 of you or so who is up early in the morning and can join me live, always glad to have you aboard. That way I don't have to sit here talking to myself. Even though I am. But at least there's 20 people listening. And no, I'm not as giddy as I usually am during my earlier streams, and that's just because it's really late. Even when I do the late night stream, sometimes I try to bring out my deep voice. You know, I like to bring out the late night voice, and see, I can't even do that right now. I can't do anything. And that's what happens too when you have too much wine with dinner, by the way. Alright, I think I'm just going to kill this whole autopilot thing. Turn all that shit off. Ooh, little stutters here. What's going on? Come on. Come on. Come on back. I don't know where these stutters are coming from all of a sudden. Oops. Where's track IR? There we go. And least anyone interested, this is of course, oops, I don't want to do that. This is of course OpenLC Europe. Which has really kept me off of France VFR sceneries anymore, only because if you look at how much each independent France VFR region costs versus just having all of Europe covered in one product for one price, it makes it really easy to justify going this route. And it looks good. So here we are. This is Lake, what's the name of the airport? I'm really losing my words here. It's really late. It's 2:27 in the morning. Is it Lee Casset? Forgive me. There's the racetrack there too, right alongside the airfield. And if you look closely enough, you'll see there's a race going on down there. The cars are in the middle of a race. If you look closely enough. Look at that. I think that's a first. I don't think anyone's done anything like that in a scenery before. I know that a couple of developers have made well-known racetracks. Like there was a developer that reached out to me a few months back. He made what's that really famous Le Mans 24-hour race there, Circuit de la something or other. And so he made that. I don't know if he released it. I can't remember if it was going to be freeware or payware, but it might be great for those who would like the scenery as a reference of, there's the famous racetrack or whatever. But I think he developed it to actually be used. Like you can get little flight sim cars and actually drive around the track, but it's like, who really wants to do that? If you've got project cars or any other millions of car games to really drive that track around on, Gran Turismo or who else, Grid, it's like, why would you want to do that in Flight Simulator? So I thought that maybe the idea was a bit odd for Flight Sim. And I know people will be like, really, you think an idea for Flight Sim is odd? Because I tend to come up with the most outlandish ideas. But yes, I did. But definitely something that could be useful for those who just want it as a point of reference from an aviation standpoint. That could definitely work. This is going to be a tight-ass bank angle, an angle of attack, but I am pretty dead set on landing on this runway from this point of view. This is going to be crazy. I barely got us on the ground, off the ground, so I'll probably barely get us on the ground here. Alright. 133 knots. I should actually be at like 125 knots over the fence. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get us down there, but I think we'll be okay.
Minimums.
There's no poppy light, so I don't even know if I'm below the glide slope or not. I'm just guessing. I'm probably taking out the trees with my landing gear right now.
50, 40, 30.
Where?
20,
Ooh, I'm a little off here.
10.
Whoops. Whoops. Ah. Oh, this is a shit landing. Oh, stall. That's even better. That'll get me on the ground. Holy shit, am I still flying? Fuck. Damn. Seriously. That took forever. That was a terrible landing. I really should have gone around and done that the right way, but I'm too lazy tonight. Alright, so now that we're on the ground, quick couple of notes. You can see there's volumetric grass, which is somehow tied into SODI. I'm not really sure how that is. As well as you can see trees here. Now you do get a couple of options with the trees. This is one option. The other option you get has a more detailed looking type of tree. But the reason why I'm not using that one is because the textures of those trees really look washed out. So these trees kind of match FTX a little bit closer with the darker green as opposed to the other trees that are washed out. But the tree models themselves are definitely much better. Here you can take a look at some of the ground textures here, a lot of cracks and whatnot. That landing was terrible. It stalled, but it just like stalled for like 20 seconds. It was just, I'm like, is it gonna fall? Is it gonna fall? Maybe that was a buffer. You can see here my track IR has got me off to the side again. That thing keeps... You hear those race cars? You can actually hear them. There they are. I was ready to say, is that some weird noise my plane is making? No, those are the cars. Damn, I cannot keep this thing straight. If anyone else uses Trek IR with Chase Plane, does anyone else have this issue, or is it just me? Sometimes I feel like a lot of problems I have is just me not knowing what I'm doing. Alright, and there's our airport. We'll turn off here. I usually like to use helicopters to fly around, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that today. We'll just rely solely on Chase Plane to do that for us. Hopefully my next landing will be better than this because we'll be flying in some serious terrain. So if I don't get my crap together, it is not going to be good. So first impressions already, you can see here terminal, or I'm sorry, hangars, nicely textured. Although you can see here where he's put in this two-dimensional image, that stuff I really don't like. I hate to use the term lazy, but I don't like stuff like that. Like, it's almost better to just leave the hangar completely closed than to just do a 2D image like that. Because that just kind of makes it look a little toyish. So an airport of this scale, because it's so small, it would be nice to just simply have an open hangar with some nice stuff. And that's what he did with the next airport that we're flying into. He actually did do that, so it was nice to see that bit of improvement. Alright, so we'll just pull up right here and stop. Okay. Oh shit, I forgot to retract my spoilers. Alright, so here we are. And we've just kind of stopped right here in front of the main terminal building here. And what impresses me the most right off the bat, I can already tell you, is just the texturing methods they used. He went with a very interesting idea of taking a snapshot of the scenery and then placing that image onto the glass. And a part of me wonders if that was the best way to go, or was it better to just keep the glass kind of as a tinted black color, but at least put in that specular mapping, which, as you can see, this clearly doesn't have. So that's one area that I would question, is why was it done this way instead of just leaving them black and having the specular mapping. And maybe this way, in real life, it does have these reflections, but you can put in your custom maps nowadays with Flight Simulator. I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce it. I've been saying Le Casset or some crap. Castellet, maybe? I don't know. French is such a complicated language for me. But here we are. So yes, and as far as the building textures goes, I mean, you kind of have this sort of stucco look here. And now here's the interesting thing is he actually did put the specular mapping on the actual terminal logo, which is funny, but not on the actual windows themselves. So that one was a kind of an interesting one for me. And here you can see they've really gone all out detail wise. You can see you've got surveillance cameras there on the side of the building. The terminal's nicely tinted, which leaves just enough detail to see from the outside. I like the roof shingle look as well. This reminds me a lot of Misha's Santa Barbara project that he's currently working on. And I'm really looking forward to seeing those rustic shingles, which is a staple of Southern California in certain areas. Here we just kind of have some photoreal looking trees. They don't look that great up close, but from the airfield side they look decent. And a lot of attention to detail as well on the bushes and plants and flowers. Again, you can see there on the building logo here, there's some specular mapping there. Additionally, you can see here the vegetation all around just looks really nice. I'm not sure what this building is over here, but again, it looks very accurate for the area. Now, I can't remember what this scenery cost me. I'd have to go back and check my Sim Market account. Because the interesting... Oh, what the hell is this? Is this a... what do you call that? Is this like supposed to be an Easter egg? Or did this guy... Or did the developer like fly his drone over the building and this chick is like, what the fuck? That's probably his wife. That's probably his backyard or something. And he just put that in there, thinking, maybe no one will notice. That's kind of funny. So we have a few more houses and stuff over here. It looks like a couple swimming pools and these custom trees. You can see the colors of the trees is a bit of a bright green. So a little bit brighter than the surrounding areas. And you can see the blending as well between the scenery here itself and FTX OpenLC. You can see there, if I go up a little bit higher, you can see there it's the threshold is fairly noticeable. I think if the trees were as dark as if they had an option to have the trees as dark as the surrounding FTX Global trees, then I think that probably would make this a little bit less noticeable. But I think he was really probably trying to match the color of the photoreal that he used. And Amos is left because he's probably at work. Alright, and let's just zoom down here a little bit. We got a few more buildings here. And all the other trees that I mentioned earlier when I said the other trees in the area tended to look a bit washed out. This is kind of the color of those trees. And why I went with the darker green, because these colors here just didn't really seem to match. Even though the quality of the trees looked really good, the coloration just was a little too bright and made everything stand out even brighter. So it's in the little building here. And here we'll get down here and look at the grass, which is really just not super detailed grass, but good enough that it gets the point across that this is grass. And here we have what looks like a static black hawk. And even here, he's got the specular mapping on the windows of the helicopter, but not on the terminal itself. So still leaves me to wonder why he didn't go that route on the terminal. So a couple of closed. All the hangars pretty much I think are closed here. But he really nailed the main terminal building really nicely. And again, I'm really impressed with the quality of the texture work. Fire truck here. A little open carport there as well. And fences everywhere, which is good. And the quality of the textures on the hangers here are really nicely done as well. So really no complaints on the textures. Again, I think maybe the main terminal windows could have been done a bit differently. But as far as the textures goes, the textures are actually quite nice. Actually, it looks like those fences did disappear, didn't they? Yeah, they didn't make it all the way out here. What happened there? As well as the cars, GSE, and just randomly ground airfield. What do you call that? Clutter is also nicely done, as well as the ground textures as well. I'll just stop that for a minute so you can kind of get an idea of the ground textures here. Here we have, well, it says maintenance, but it looks like a firehouse. Or the maintenance house for the fire trucks, perhaps. All the fences are gone. A couple of more closed off hangars. And I think that's pretty much it. So it's a small airfield, not very large at all. Small scenery. I have to go back and check Sid Market to try to remember what this thing costs. And of course there you have the included racetrack as well. Where are those race cars? Oh, they're coming around here. So I think that was a pretty nice touch, adding the little race cars here. Little Indy cars. And there they go. All right, let's take a quick look at the night lighting, and then let's make our way over to the next airport, shall we? And the night lighting is actually, in my opinion, one of the most impressive aspects of this airfield. We actually didn't get a look at the little fuel station here, did we? Take a look at that. I don't know if it's me or if the aircraft engine is like really freaking loud. Might turn that down just a little bit. That thing is like screaming in my ear. And you can almost even get close enough to see the writing on there as well. So very nice attention to detail here. Alright, let's take a look at the night lighting, and hopefully I don't need to reload the scenery for this. I hope not. We'll find out here in just a second. There we go. Okay, so the runway lights. Whew, that's a bit hard on the eyes, isn't it? Actually, I don't remember the runway and the taxi lights looking like that. Why does it look like that? I don't know why the lights were done like that. That is kind of tough on the eyes to look at. Did I notice this before? This is the first time, I bought the scenery a while back, and then when I got the new PC, I actually hadn't used it until, until now, just installing it for this stream. So, I remember the terminal and apron lighting looking good, but this is kind of tough. Yikes. I don't know why that looks like that, but that's kind of tough. There we go. The night lights just all completely came on. Yeah, that's kind of tough to look at. So I'm going to probably chalk that up to the developer still kind of learning how to do certain things. Now here's where I was a little bit more impressed, is over here in the apron area. In fact, let's make it a little bit darker so this is easier to see. This is one area that I was impressed, was the volumetric lighting here, kind of casting off the buildings, which I thought was a nice touch. But the edge lighting and runway lighting is a bit tough to look at. And someone's asking, is this the lights that come with the scenery? Yes, these lights are built in with the scenery. In this case, I would almost prefer to just have default runway lights and taxi lights over this, but it does come with a couple of control panels, which include, like I said, the Sodi grass, and they include, what else in those control panels do they include? And the trees. I think that was it. Actually, I might be able to go to my desktop and show you what is in the control panels here in just a minute. Let me get over to the little buildings here and see the lights here. I like how the little lights on the buildings here kind of cast their light in different directions. Actually, this is the first time I've noticed this at night. There's little pictures here in the windows. I didn't notice that before. I didn't give the scenery a thorough look over the first time I installed it, but that's interesting touch. Inside of each of these windows, that's a daylight scene there, huh? I'm wondering if these are just stock photos or images of the developer's house, or what are some of these images here? Or his workplace, maybe? I don't know, that's kind of interesting. Interesting with the image as well, the background image on the window. Some more images here. Yeah, so I don't know if these images are the actual place or what. Very interesting. And the building in the background has no lighting. I like how this was done. That's pretty cool. That's an interesting way to do that lighting there. It looks really nice. And then looking over into the background over here as well, you can see there on the wall there's some nice lighting kind of cast against there. So I mean the developer did the things that he did right. He did really, really right. I mean, there's a lot about this scenery that just really looks impressive, but then there are a few areas that are just like leave me wondering, okay, why did he do this like this? So like, for example, it's night, but we see it what's clearly a daytime image in the window. Why did he do that like that? You know, why is there specular mapping on the helicopter windows but not on the building windows, and you have this kind of like weird background image? So there's a few things that are just kind of somewhat odd. Look at this. Even this little panel here on the wall has a light on it. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of attention to detail here, which I like. And one of the things that I'm always looking for in developers, especially newer developers, is, you know, what they have. What's the term that I'm thinking of here? Their potential is looking at their potential, and there's clearly a lot of potential here. But then I would say, okay, well, what's going on with these lights? You know, why did he do these lights like this? You know, or why are the runway lights and edge lights done like that? Like, so there's a few things that are like kind of weird. And like I said, the things that were done well were done really well. So, you know, and then you have like these two trees here, which are just like really bright for no apparent reason. So it does have a few odd things. This building here doesn't have any lights. And I would think that there would probably be street lights or something over here as well, that there would be something lighting these areas up. Those cars are still running out there at night, huh? So yeah, I mean, a lot of things that were done really right, and then a lot of things that are just like kind of questionable. But ultimately, would you ask me, okay, well, you know, but should I buy it though, based on, you know, these assertions, and I'd still say, yeah. I mean, I bought it. I'm glad that I have it. I definitely like it. And there's a lot that I like about it. I don't know why I'm so impressed with how that sign is lit up there. That's just kind of stupid, I know. But the sign wasn't lit on this side, but I guess that's because you have this ground light, which is casting the light upwards onto the terminal. Some flickering lights up there as well. So overall, this is Le Castellet. I don't know how to pronounce that. I do apologize to my French viewers. But overall, though, I definitely like it. So let's head over to his most recent work and see what he's done there, shall we? I'm going to try to fly this airplane again. Hopefully this time we'll get off the ground. Huh? What do you think? And Vanatol says this seems like the perfect airport to fly a Dash 8 into. Oh yeah, you can squeeze a Dash 8 in here, no problem. Okay. Let me just see how I'm doing on time. 1 hour, 12 minutes. Okay. Alright, let me see if I can reset this eye point and keep it from moving if I can. Spring Trek IR back. Alright, let's go and head over to our next airport. Quick water break. Let's see, let me just reset that. I hate that this thing keeps moving. Alright, let's go. Oh wait, where's my eye point? Jeez. There we go. Back that off a little bit. Alright, let's do it. Now I can barely hear the airplane. Alright. How do I get out of here? Let's just move that up so I can see. I feel like I gotta turn around and get out of here, don't I? Is there a way out? It's weird because all of these little side taxiways to get out are like they all have X's on them. So, in a minute we're gonna be driving across the grass. And if you're just joining me on this really awkward Tuesday morning, we're taking a look at, geez, I can't just get that right where I want it. We're taking a look at FSX3D. Is it right? Is it FSX3D? I think it is. And looking at some of their work, what they have to offer. And I've been meaning to get to this developer last year when this airport was initially released. And I never got around to it. So a lot of stuff that I don't get around to, I do try to get there eventually. I guess better late than never. Yeah, so they got these taxiways over here closed off for whatever reason. Okay. And this airport that we're heading over to now, I already forgot the name of the airport. Barcelet, I think is what it's called, something like that. I haven't flown into this airport yet. When I first installed it, I took a bunch of screenshots, which you guys saw at the top of the news today. And that was what I think Friday I did that. If I remember correctly, I took the screenshot, took a quick look at it, and then that was like it. I haven't actually flown into the airport. This is my first time flying there, so I am going to try to wake myself up a bit to try to get this right, because it is a mountainous terrain-like approach. But one of the reasons that I'm excited about this airport as well is now I have something to add to all of my LLH creation sceneries as well. So if you're looking for cool places to fly around in France and you've never heard of LLH Creations, Google that. They did all those lovely Alps airports like Courchevel and Alpe d'Huez and Mirabel and Majiv and all those cool little airports. Grenoble, Le or something or other. But yeah, they did a lot of those very, very complex approach airports. So I definitely recommend checking them out. And speaking of Courchevel, as we all know, or as you may or may not know, I did get my flaps right. Gaia Simulations is working on their own version of Courchevel, so that should be really interesting as well. I think I left the landing lights and everything running, didn't I? Yeah, I did. So let's hope I can get this thing off the ground this time. I don't know what happened before. That was really freaking weird. And let's say goodbye to this lovely airport. Okay, so we've already passed V1. I should be able to rotate right about now. I should be able to rotate. Jeez Louise, what the fuck? This plane is acting weird. I haven't had these problems before. Oh my gosh, is it trimming? It's not trimming. Oh, that's why it isn't. Okay, there's something wrong with my flight stick here. I unplugged it earlier. It's not trimming. That's why. Damn it. And I don't have a secondary trim button. Okay, well that explains that. Okay. So I have no trim. That's awesome. I'm going way too damn fast. Give me a second here. I'm going to try to pull up my FSUI PC one more time and see if it'll send the message to my flight stick to trim. No, it's not trimming. Okay. Screw it. Alright, I'm just going to get lazy here. As we make our way over the lovely Parisian, the southern Parisian countryside here. You see the airport back there? Not really. This should be a fairly short trip. I'm going to push the speed up a bit here and get us there quickly. One of the things I want to be able to do is kind of fly around that photo reel area a little bit before we go in and make the approach. It's a small airfield, so shouldn't be down there for too long. Try to keep the stream under 2 hours. And then next up during the week will be Javietsky Design Washington X. A lot of people are really interested in that one. So that will be the next destination for the next live stream, which I hope will be at a more suitable time for once. I'm like going into overspeed here. Oh, there's the scenery. So you can see just how it's not very subtle, is it? Is that a bridge? Oh, that's the building. There's the car still going around the track there, but yeah, you can see there it's not very subtle in terms of the blending, color blending. It was one of the things that really impressed me about 29 Palms. When they made the 29 Palms Airport, they had a version that was compatible with Mega Scenery Earth and the freeware photoreal and FTX Global, and if you use FTX Southern California, like they had a version of it that was essentially compatible with almost everything, so that no matter what you use, you kind of got a really nice seamless transition. Not so much the case here, but the airport is too good kind of not to have it. So Mr. Mistake is saying this is the perfect time to have a live stream, but then his name is Mr. Mistake, so not sure to take that seriously or... Oh, you're flying from Salt Lake to Pittsburgh. You're flying in the, you said virtual reality. You're flying that in the Oculus? I can't fly anything complex in the Oculus because I find that it's just too difficult to read. Yeah, well, that's good for you if you can fly in the Oculus. Like, I find anything other than just simple, like flying helicopters or VFR type stuff in small planes, I tend to find that it's really difficult. Like anything with an FMS or anything, it's pretty hard to read because of the resolution of the goggles. Like they really weren't designed for it, but oh, you're saying PMDG's MD-11 is a bit more simple. Well, I bought that in FS9, and the last time I think I used that plane was, God, a long time ago. Put it this way, I was able to fly that thing on my laptop and get like 90 frames per second into FSDT Las Vegas. Like, I mean, of course FS9, but those were the days. And God, that would have been 8 years ago maybe, or 9 years ago, somewhere around there, like 8 or 9 years ago. Damn. And I haven't touched it since. And Vanatol saying the immersion in the Oculus Rift is fantastic. You really feel like you're in the cockpit. Oh, for sure. You know what you might want to consider is what's that other simulator? Aerofly. Aerofly, if you haven't got that, that's really good for Oculus flying. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like you said, reading small text. That's why I said anything with an FMS, when there's a lot of numbers and letters, it can be really tough to read them in the FMS because it's just not really conducive to small details. So like a plane like this would be like really hard to read. I assume you use Fly Insight because otherwise it's impossible. Fly Insight's a terrific program. Well, yeah, I recommend you take a look at what is that? Aerofly FS. It's pretty freaking awesome because that simulator, that platform is more designed for Oculus. The downside is the aircraft aren't really user intuitive. So I mean, you can't do like a proper startup and shut down in any of their aircraft. It's really like things are already running and you fire it up. I don't blame the makers of the platform for that. I think we just need to get some good third-party developers in there to bring some good aircraft into it. But yeah, it does fall short in a lot of areas, and you know, every time I look up, they're like, we're adding a new region, and I'm like, ah. But you know, we've already seen Orbix, and I'm really looking forward to meeting up with John in a couple of months because Flight Sim Con's only a couple months away, right? What is it? Today is what, May? Where's my phone? What does today's date? I have no clue what today's date is. Today's the 21st, March 21st, April 21st, May 21st. So, yeah, just a little less than 3 months away, and I'm really looking forward to John having a lot of stuff in the Orbix team, having a lot of stuff on display in terms of what they are doing with Aerofly. He's already told me what they're doing. I just can't really say anything about it because that was in confidence. But I think a lot of people were excited about the whole X-Plane thing, and I'm assuming at this point that that's just not going to happen at all. So I think between P3D version 4 and two other undisclosed. Well, yeah, they haven't mentioned. He actually hasn't mentioned anything about the Dovetail flight simulator. Now that I think about it, so I'm not sure what they're doing there. And then another platform unmentioned at this time. So Orbix is going to be showing off a lot of stuff at Flight SimCon. It's going to be pretty freaking insane, and I'm hoping to broadcast live again like I did last year. Captain Gombo, what's up, buddy? So for those of you who may not be able to make it to the event, I was able to broadcast with my iPhone. So I know it's not super great. It's not, E3 like some people try to compare it to. I'm not filthy rich that I can bring in an entire, media van with thousands of dollars of equipment. But at least a lot of you guys got to see a lot of those interviews live. I know the sounds and stuff weren't that great. So I'm going to try to see at the very least if I can get a better microphone for the iPhone, and so that you guys can hear the interviews a little bit better. But yeah, so that's I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to be showing off, and I'm really mostly interested in the Aerofly thing because I think that's a simulator that has a lot of potential. I think if we just get good environment, like active environment in there, get some water in there, some nice terrain, stuff like that, and just real airplanes. I think for Oculus flying, it's just going to knock everything out of the park. I think it'll be better than Prepared. It'll be better than X-Plane and everything as far as VR goes. Because, number one, when you start it up, you're like, from the moment you click the button, you're flying in like less than 30 seconds. You're flying freaking 250 frames per second. Like, that's just insane. So, they did their own version of New York City, which is actually more detailed than the version that Jivitsky did. And again, you're zipping in and around buildings and stuff at 200 frames per second, and it's just like, man, So we'll see if Prepared version 4 delivers us that same kind of performance. That's going to be the really interesting aspect to it. So get ready to upgrade your GPUs, folks. The 1080 Ti is out. I just bought the 1080 FTW back at the beginning of October. I think October 3rd I bought the 1080 FTW. So that's been, 6 months almost, huh? Almost. Yeah, over 6 months. No, not quite 6 months. And already I'm ready to trade it in for the FTW, but my big computer dollars usually get spent at the back end of the year. So, I don't have a 4K monitor yet. And that's because the monitor that I wanted, and I'm just so disappointed because it sold out. I wanted this Asus has a Adobe RGB 4K monitor. I think it's 31 inches, I think. And the monitor that I use now is a Dell UltraSharp 30-inch, and I've had this thing for probably 15 years now, and this thing is still going strong, this 2K monitor. So I'm looking to replace it with 4K, and then Amazon, they ran out on Amazon. It was I think a couple of weeks before Christmas, and they just didn't have any more. So I really didn't get anything this year for Christmas because that was the only thing that I wanted. And I had already bought the Oculus Rift. I already bought the GPU. So between those two combined was like $2,300 just in one blow, the Oculus and the GPU. So it was fine that they ran out, but yeah, I'm hoping to upgrade it again toward the end of this year. But we'll see how the 1080 FTW does and how it handles P3D V4. And then if it looks like I might have to take it a step forward, then I will. So I see a lot of people already rushing out and getting it. The thing is, though, is I just don't recommend buying the default NVIDIA graphics cards. I'm not saying they're not great. They're terrific graphics cards, but I think it's always better to wait for a third party to come in and really clock those things up But I mean, if you build your own PCs, then I guess that's fine for you. But it's like when you look at an NVIDIA GPU, and I always, that was always a big thing, is I look at the NVIDIA GPU, it costs about the same as my 1080 FTW versus the normal NVIDIA. I think it was the Founders Edition that was available at the time, or just, no, it wasn't Founders Edition, it was post Founders Edition. But the card is like much smaller, and it has that one tiny ass fan on it. And then I'll look at my card, and my card is like 3 times as big, and it's got these 2 big ass GE90s on it, and it's like, my card obviously has to be cooling mine. It's obviously clocked, so it has a much faster clock speed. But then it can cool the card a lot better too. So I just figure if you're gonna spend the same amount of money, it's always better to wait. So EVGA already announced their FTW. Are they calling it an FTW? I think they're calling it an FTW. Their 1080 Ti, and I've already laid eyes on that baby. So I'll probably get it probably sometime at the end of my vacation. So Flight SimCon always ties into my vacation time. So that whole like 2.5, 3 weeks of Flight SimCon is usually like $4,000. So I recoup from that, and then back to the next toy or whatever it is. So but so far the 1080 so far, it's like everything I've thrown at it just pretty much flies in its sleep. So sometimes I keep asking, do I really need a Ti? And I almost feel like I don't, but once Prepared Versions 4 is here, we'll know for sure. So it's kind of just a waiting game at this point. Bear Body's here, but he's not speaking in the chat. Is anybody in TeamSpeak right now? Just curious.
Connected.
No, it's a ghost town. Oh, Kim is in there, though. Kim is probably watching. He has to be. Or either that or he's asleep. Let's see. While we are flying here, we're not too far from the airport. Sorry, you're going to see some funny stuff on your screen. I thought I'd show you something real quick. Let me switch this around for you really fast. So FSX3D. So this is one of the things you see here. This is the trees. These are the trees here. So you can see this is their active HD trees. Like I said, they look nice. They're more detailed, but the textures look a bit washed out. And then over on here, you can see the original trees. So that was that one. And then there is another one here somewhere. Configurator. And this is, I think this is just, if you want that racetrack, then you can activate that, and then this grass sody thing. So those are the two things that I didn't show you. I'm just going to close that now. So yeah, just really quickly so that you could see the different options in the control panel there. That is it. And actually, this one has one as well. Oh, and then really quickly, let me go back here again because we're on our way to Barcelet. And where is it? We're on our way to Barcelet, and I thought I'd just show you here. So you have summer and winter textures. And as much as I would love to show the winter textures, I would have to stop and restart the simulator. I don't know if I want to do that because I'm coming up close. It's already 3:15 in the morning. So we're only going to look at the summer textures. You can look at more of the winter textures and stuff from their website. So yeah, I think that's... What was that? All right. So that was that. I thought I'd just show that really quickly. And... So here we are now. We've entered the scenery coverage area. You can kind of see the difference there a little bit, in terms of right where FTX Open LC. Oh my gosh, what is this thing called? Open LC Europe. There we go. And we're kind of just approaching right over the threshold here of the photoreal terrain. Spade 361 is telling me to crash the plane. I might. Oh, Kim is bare body. Okay, why do I always forget that? I might. A lot of terrain up here. And I haven't done this approach yet, so. And there's some clouds down there too. It's kind of freaking me out. So here we are now, flying over the photoreal terrain here. And just like with the last airport that we left, you can see there, there's no blending here. It's just flat out, boom. There's a line. So there's a lot of developers that can learn a lot from the likes of Jared Marshall when it comes to blending photoreal. But, you know, Orbix is a you know, a different third-party developer. But I like to think that almost the majority of people are probably flying on Orbix stuff right about now to where it should be done, but it all comes down to time and, you know, what the developers are capable of and so on and so forth. So you can see here, just looking at the photo terrain here, looks really nice actually. I'm assuming this is paid photoreal terrain. I'm not really sure. I always like to mention how expensive photoreal terrain is in Europe. And I mentioned that in my Veden design stream that I did last week. And as it turns out, he actually got in touch with me and said he actually didn't have to purchase that scenery. Apparently, Denmark has a service available as well, where you can get free licensed photoreal terrain. So all you have to do is just clean it up and color it, and it's free to license to use. There's the airport right underneath us. So I'm going to descend, turn around, and then descend through the valley there. Let's turn off the autopilot now. We're going to do this all by hand. Hopefully I'll do a better job than before. Alright, so there's that photoreal. Jeez, this is going to be fun. Trying to squeeze in between these mountains here. So you can really see the threshold quite clearly. And one of the questions I'm going to be looking to answer with this while taking a look at the scenery is it worth something like $31 US? And there are a number of people that said, no, I don't think it is. And there are a number of people that said, yeah, well, actually, I think it is. I bought it, obviously. So it, you know, can come down to a matter of, well, if I bought it, does it mean that it was worth it? Or do I, now that I have bought it, do I feel that it was worth it? A lot of people think that I get everything for free, but that's actually not true. I do buy sceneries and aircraft. A lot more than you'd think. So I'm just going to swing around here. And the other thing, one of the things you have to keep in mind is right now this scenery is only available directly from the developer himself. Oh shit, there's like clouds in that valley, and I am not feeling comfortable with this. I don't know. So it's not, to my knowledge, available through a third-party retailer, at least not yet. But they do take PayPal, because I can tell you, selling it directly on their website, if they didn't take PayPal, I definitely would not have bought it. So at the very least, they did take PayPal. Oh wait, no, I'm going this way, not that way. Okay, I got lost for a minute there. We were going to be going the wrong way. Alright. So the photoreal does look good. If anything, just as good as LLH photo reel, I think. And probably even France VFR. I haven't seen a France VFR product up close in so long, so I think they're a lot better with Autogen though. They have their Autogen, what do they call that? Their 3D auto something or other. I forget what they call it. Okay, so we need to like start slowing down like really fast. I'm gonna pull the spoilers here. Jeez, that's too high, but I can't see. So from this point of view, everything's looking actually really good. Mind you, I hadn't flown into this airport yet. This is my first time, so if I crash, at least you'll have something fun to tell your friends. Alright, where's that damn runway? I'm dropping gear because I know it's down here somewhere. And custom Autogen down there as well, if you can see it. The runway would be like right in the damn cloud, huh? And I cannot see. It's 126 knots. That's pretty slow. Do you guys see the runway? I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Alright. They're bringing it nice and slow, but I don't want to stall. I almost want to clear up the weather just so that we can see all those mountains in the background, but we're going to stay committed here. And again, there are no poppy lights here, so it's a guessing game. That's a short runway. Wow. These look like all custom trees too, which is also impressive too. That's a lot of tree placement. Oh boy, here we go. Whew, okay. I'm actually a little nervous here. Shit, this is gonna be quick. I'm gonna have to slam on these brakes hard. There's no thrust reversers, so I'm gonna have to dump everything quick. Here we go. I probably hit the trees.
50, 40.
Come on,
30.
nice and easy. Okay. Come on, brakes. Alright, I think we survived. I slammed on those brakes hard too. Okay, well, let's see here. Let's go outside. Is this gonna work or not? No, not gonna work. I can't change views. Jeez. Okay. Let's bring the spoilers back. And see here, a lot of custom trees in here. Which is a nice touch. A lot of custom trees. Got these mountains. I bet this looks really nice with the winter textures as well. I'm willing to bet. Just taking a quick look around. Alright, why can't I change views? What is going on? Nothing is working right today, I'm telling you. Thank you. That's what I want. I want my spot view. Okay, here we go. Let's turn around here. This airport's going to fit in really nicely with my LLH sceneries. I've got to dig deep in my hard drives and pull all that crap out. So, ground textures look nice. I really do like the custom trees here. This little forest of trees. What are you saying there, Captain Gombo? 2 years ago you visited Aerosoft's FS conference. The CRJ will be released in 6 weeks, they said. Oh, well. You guys know I've stopped following that for the time being. I can't blame Aerosoft, though. Okay, here we are. So we are now pulling in, and now you can see this time we have some open... I guess these aren't really... I guess they're hangars, but I don't think they have hangar doors to begin with, but at least they're open, which is nice. And this airfield might be a little too small for our plane. But we're going to pull on up here anyway. So nice ground textures. Again, you can see here quality of... you can see nice little flowers and stuff in there. A lot of detail inside those hangars. I'm probably going to kill the clouds just so that we can see things a little bit more clearly. And I think we'll just park our little airplane right here. And some custom vehicle animation traffic as well. Alright, let's just shut these off. And the GPU still doesn't work. So, I don't know what's going on there. That's fine. Is this thing trying to fire up again? Off. Dry motor. Okay, let's shut that up. Okay, let's go back outside. Alright, here we are. Oops, why did I push that? That was the wrong button. Alright, I'm thinking I should kill, in a minute I'm gonna kill these clouds, so just so we can see things a little bit better. So one of the things you can see right off the bat, they kind of have their little nature flow deal going on here with animated trees. You can see them kind of doing a little funky sway there. I think one thing that we do need is more species of speed trees for prepared. But the vegetation of the trees actually looks really nice. Another thing you'll notice, too, another Orbix well-known feature is the sound of ambience, if you can hear that. Like birds and stuff in the background. And lots of attention to detail. Lots of attention to detail here. And it's obvious that the developer did get on site to get nice high-resolution photo reel. That looks really nicely done. I mean, look at the quality of that wood. Looks almost wet, like it was taken after a storm or something. I mean, look at the detail here. Just all the little stuff. Can we read this? Oops. I didn't mean to do that, but... you can almost read that. Jet A fuel here. So a lot of nice vegetation and grass, a different type of species of grass from the other scenery as well. It's kind of hard to see in some of these little areas here. I need to adjust track IR, or not track IR, but chase plane here for a second. Give me a second here. Advanced. Or maybe I can make things a little bit smoother. Let's try this. Okay, that's a little bit smoother. And here again, another staple of Orbix, of all things Orbix here. We've got a little guy there sweeping the floor. Little gas canisters there, electrical panels on the wall. We've got glider hanging from the ceiling in here. This is almost stumbling onto LH Simulations, the Hungarian team. It's another team that I really desperately miss. LH Simulations. And you've got all these gliders. Gliders are always just kind of just sitting on the floor like a kid left his toys. Any airport you go to and you see gliders, it's like some big giant just left his toys all over the floor. So the scenery here is very nice. We've got some more stuff over here. There's a guy with an open van. What is he, making a phone call? Yep. So FSX3D has been taking time to work on animated people, which looks like something new for this developer. We didn't notice any of that in the other scenery. So you can see in the time it takes between sceneries, the developer is definitely taking a lot of time to add new features and refine his craft. So that's definitely a plus. Just take a look at some of the buildings here in the this little village area. Even these electric wires, or whatever you call them here, are nicely detailed. So a lot of the local buildings here are all included. All photoreal too, as you can see. And that photoreal in the background just really ties it all together. So to ask the question, is it really worth $31? Well, a lot of people will say, well, if you look at the quality that we've seen this far and try to match it to Orbix quality, it does in fact incorporate a lot that we see in Orbix sceneries: animated vehicles, animated people, ambient sounds. Some of the sounds you're hearing are from the user aircraft that I just can't get out of. But if we go back to the airport, we should hear those birds and stuff. Again, I heard it earlier. So yeah, custom and animated vegetation. So a lot that we are used to seeing in Orbix sceneries, we're kind of getting a lot of those features here. But does that necessarily make it worth that price that Orbix would charge for a lot of their equally sized airports? And again, you do have this large photoreal as well. But the thing you also have to keep in mind with Orbix sceneries is when you purchase an Orbix scenery at a certain price, it's not just the scenery you're paying for. It's all those other things that you don't always think about, like FTX Central. That ties it all together, which is also very expensive in the fact that when an update happens, you can just open FTX Central and an update happens. You know, in the global add-on library, stuff like that. So, or you do still get a little bit more. When you buy an Orbix scenery, you log into your account. And the only reason why I'm comparing it to Orbix, because I think that's where I saw someone making the comparison. But you log into your account, it automatically sends that information over to FTX Central, and then it automatically injects it, downloads and injects it straight into the simulator. Now, in the case with this scenery, you buy the scenery from their website. There is PayPal, which is something that Orbix doesn't have at the moment. And when you purchase it, you get, it does tell you, okay, anywhere between the next 12 minutes and 24 hours, you'll get an email with your download information and all that stuff. So in my case, I think it took about 15 minutes to get that info, so I didn't get it right away. And then you do definitely have to use a download manager. In the case with Orbix, it is its own download manager, so it'll download, whatever the fastest method available is. But the first time I downloaded it, I didn't use a download manager, and it took a few hours. And when I went to install the scenery, I thought the scenery was corrupt because it comes like in RAR files, and it's because it was in French, and the English was at the bottom. So I thought I could just try to easily translate it. So then when I ran it through the download manager, then it took about, I think, maybe 10-15 minutes for the scenery. I think the whole scenery altogether is like maybe 1.5 gigabytes or something like that. So then I finally did that, and then I kept trying to extract everything from the RAR file, and it still wasn't working. As it turns out, the RAR file has a password, which is not the same password as the scenery serial number. So it took me a second to scroll down and find that. So then once I got that, was able to put the password, and then I was able to extract everything. Then I had to put everything in the same folder, and then I had to launch the separate independent installers. And then every time you need to run one of the installers, you have to put the serial key in every single time. So there's a lot more work that goes into it. And then I think after that, did it notify the scenery library directly, or did I have to do it manually? That I can't remember. So you do also pay for convenience. So when you're pricing this at the same amount as the Orbix Airport, with the Orbix equally sized airport equally priced, you are getting a level of convenience that you're just not getting here. You kind of got to jump through some hoops to get everything installed. So because of that, I would say that it is a little bit overpriced. I think $25 would have done it fine. I think $31 is pushing it, because you can't even get it from your local web shop. And I'm always the first to tell you that I always think it's best to purchase direct from the developer, because they get all of the proceeds when you go through a web shop. The web shop takes their cut. And in some cases, it can be as much as 30%, 35%. So that certainly does make a lot of sense in that case. But again, you still don't get the ease of being able to log in at any time and download it again if you need it. Now, that email that they send you, the download link is in there. But if you're like me and you've had your email account for 30 years and you've got a billion emails, you might have to find yourself searching for it as opposed to just logging into your account. And they didn't offer, I think, an account login, if I remember correctly. So there are some benefits to, 29 Palms or, that do sceneries of this size, or Orbix, stuff like that. And 29 Palms, actually, their stuff is actually priced even cheaper. So that's just a few things to kind of just keep in consideration of. Now, I spent $31 on this. I felt $31 was a bit steep. I think $25 would have been a lot better, but am I happy with my purchase? And the answer is absolutely. I think they've done an amazing job with the scenery. They've put a lot of attention to detail in here. And it's nice to see this developer really upping his game. You can even read Adidas logo on his shirt. So this developer has really been upping his game, and that much I appreciate. So I was happy to pay the $31 because I want to support him. I want to continue to see him continue to up his game, and I think France is one of those is really the most overlooked European country. Norway is just like whipping ass and taking names right now, but France is really not. So it's nice to see developers focusing in on France and doing a lot better than what France VFR is doing, which is just kind of like a lot of lazy airports with no detail, using default ground textures and polys and stuff like that. So in this case, the developer is clearly, you can see he's got some passion in his work. He's putting a lot of effort and detail in it. So to that end, I was happy to pay the $31 for it. But at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to you and what you feel is worthwhile. for sure. And, you know, it's not to say that any less work went into this project than anything of equal size, because just doing the photoreal alone, coloring it, doing winter and summer textures, just that alone is a lot of work. So I'm definitely impressed and happy to have paid the $31. But again, it's going to come down to you. I still think, though, for the average Joe, probably 25 bucks would have been a little bit better. Let's take a look at the night lighting here. Hopefully I can cheat and do it this way. There we go. So we've got the night lighting now. Now, I would definitely imagine there are no operations at this airport at night given the terrain surrounding it. So there will be no runway lights or taxiway edge lights. But as far as the lighting on the buildings themselves, again, just like the last scenery we saw, very nicely done. He's pretty good at this as far as it pertains to the lighting. And he's really got just the environment and feel of this area very nicely. You kind of feel like you're in the mountains. And the way it's lit is very nice. So overall, I am definitely very impressed with everything that I see here. We can go in the hangar here. We can see everything is nicely lit in here as well. And a huge shout out to the FSFX Packages guys for Chase Plane. Doing these live views are much better these days for me, having this ability. This is kind of interesting, though. The little grass polygon thing kind of extends outward. Well, you know what? That could be me, though. Probably I need to adjust the terrain. Actually, that is most probably the issue. Should I do this and risk it? I am going to do it just to check it. But if I run out of memory somehow, this little guy here, that's where that noise is coming from. The wind, I guess, is blowing this little prop. Let's get that thing out of the way. I was wondering where that noise was coming from. So all in all, it's a beautiful scenery. And I'm really looking forward to what FSX3D is going to deliver next. My big thing is always, you know, supporting the big guys, but also going after and supporting the little guys as well. And clearly he's done just a tremendous job here with this scenery. So I'm definitely impressed with that. I'm going to really quickly see if I can adjust the terrain here, though. I think the mesh, I need to bring that mesh up, huh? I'm just going to max out the mesh resolution to 1, and it's going to reload here. So your screen's going to go black for just a second. I just want to make sure that I hate to show off any scenery incorrectly. And so I'm just going to adjust that really quickly, and then that'll be pretty much it. So again, apologies for this really weird time to be doing a live stream, but this was the time that was best for me to be able to get this done. So for those of you who were able to tune in and join me, much appreciated. Hope you found it informative. And I do my best to try to get to these streams as much as I can. So I know I've been a little bit behind on a few things lately. So always playing catch up, seems like. Let me see, did that make things any better? That did make it a little bit better, didn't it? Let me switch this over to daytime. There we go. Oh, that looks much better. Look at that. Okay, so I needed to adjust my mesh resolution. That did it. So now this whole area suddenly makes a little bit more sense. There we go. That's it. A little road leading up there. Now we got it. Cool. So a cute little airport. Again, really super small airfield, but really massive coverage area. And again, 31 bucks. So you can head over to FSX3D. What is their website? I should probably pull their website up, huh? Just take a look at those night textures one last time. I think he did a good job on that night lighting. Let me see, just a little bit of light there. There we go. So there it is. Cute little scenery. Really expensive, but also nicely done too. Oh, a lot of this light is coming from my airplane. I just realized that. Let's turn off those landing lights. I think I hear the sound of cars too. Is anyone else hearing that, or is that just me? And while I'm in here too, since we were taking a look at this airplane, I'll show you some of the night lighting for this airplane as well, since we were looking at this earlier. Is this all adjusted separately? Oh yeah, you can adjust the brightness there. Flood panels, the brightness there. Oh yeah, look at that. You guys hear that motorcycle go by? That was pretty neat. Yeah, so you got these ambient sounds as well. Let me see. I'm going to turn off the dome light there. Get that nice mood lighting there. I didn't get to show off the night lighting in this airplane since we were kind of taking a look at this as well along with the scenery. So this is FSX3D, folks. Let's head over to FSX3D really quickly. We'll just take a quick gander at their website. Where is it? FSX3D, where are you? Their website is a little bit weird. Shoot. Their website does some weird stuff. All right, there it goes. I don't know why it does that, so let me go back to, where are we? That's not it. Desktop here. Yeah, so when I go to the website, it goes to this white page, and then if you click on parent directory, that takes you there. They have a special offer. What's the special offer? I don't know what that says. I'm assuming there is no special offer. I don't know how you get to English. That's the other thing too, is getting English out of here. But anyway, here it is. And this is another cool thing too, is when you click on the pictures, it shows you the night lighting, which is a cool little touch. Okay, there's an English thingy there. There's a little flag sticking out of the wall. So there it is. Actually, it says door hanger animated. Oh, is it really? Oh, shoot. Really? Hang on a second. What else here? Realistic modeling, real modeling, pictures from 2016, mesh, modeling, photoreal, AI traffic. It says compatibility with FTX Global, but not OpenLC Europe. So maybe that does look a little bit better. Recommends Orbix Trees HD, Sweet Effects. Discus Glider from Aerosoft. Okay, let's take a quick look. Let's go back to the simulator, because I did not know that. Where is... Let me see here. So you can animate the door, the hangar doors, huh? There, now that light's off. That light was interfering with the parking lot. Okay, so animated hangar doors, you say. Let's pull up Sody Pop. Oh, motherfucker. Ah, oh, damn it. Oh, crap. I really wanted to see the animated hangar doors. Okay. Well, oh well. I ran out of memory. bring on prepared version 4. So anyway, here's all the photos you can see there. It looks really cool when you click on them. They go to nighttime and all that stuff. So anyway, when I go over to PayPal, it was like $31. So again, not cheap. So, oh, even the road lighting is lit too. I didn't even notice that as well. So anyway, I think it's all done, huh? Yeah, I have no more control over the simulator at this point. So anyway, folks, thank you again for hanging out with me. It was interesting, another interesting time to have a live stream, but sometimes this is kind of what I have to do in order to try to get caught up and show off a lot of these sceneries. Most folks will probably catch this on YouTube, which I will start uploading right now. Anyway, so definitely check out FSX3D. Keep your eye on this developer. I think he's doing a lot of good work, and he's showing a lot of potential. So, and his stuff is really impressive. So, you know, $31 for Barcelet, but hey, you know what? You get a nice, challenging approach there in the mountains, all that photoreal, high detail. You know, I'd say go get it now, or you can always wait until he has a sale, but definitely a worthwhile scenery. So anyway, time to get back on with the daily news and everything else. So I'm going to jump out of here, folks, but enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see you back here for the next live stream. So take care, everybody.